Hello, Mother.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Today, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today, we are exposing a case that is important, and everyone in England and other countries at the moment, they are at the risk of going through exactly the same situation of this mother. This video today is not going to have the image of the mother, and there is a reason why. Because this mother has been arrested, like many other mothers, for speaking up and for standing up for their children. Now, we are going to speak with his mother, and the name of the mother is not going to be mentioned. The name of the children they are not going to be mentioned, because the family courts, they don't want their crimes to be exposed. So that's why no names they're going to be identified. But we are going through every single detail of this case to expose these crimes. Now, if you haven't subscribed this channel, please do, to support these mothers, to support these families, because we are giving voice to our children, and we are not giving our children away. And the social services, they are child trafficking, and we have the evidence. If you do not believe, please hear what this mother has to say. Hello, Mother. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you, and thanks for speaking to me.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much for trusting me to expose your case. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Now, let's go back to the beginning. I don't know much details about your case, but what I know, I was very upset. So if we could go through these details so the people, they know what they are actually doing. So from the beginning, Mother, have you grown up in care? Have you been dealt with any social services on your childhood?
No, not at all. Nothing at all. I was a domestic violence victim who left her husband, and that's why social services got involved with my children. A false allegation was made from my abuser, who then the children were taken from the school. Until that point, I had no social service involvement. I had no grown up in care. I had nothing to do with social services in my life.
So you have not grown up in care, you never had any social services involvement, and the reason they got into your life, it is because you were a domestic violence victim, and you have reported that to the police.
Yes.
And you have been through that situation for 10 years, and during those 10 years, you always have reported to the police what the man has done to you, correct?
Yes, 100%. Several times over the 10 years it was reported. It was, my ex was military, so it was also reported to the military. I then had enough and I left him and I moved country. He refused to leave us alone. I tried to get through the court procedures, getting a child protection, child arrangement order and a non-molestation order. I was trying to protect my children, but due to his false allegations, social services went to the school one day and removed my children from school over an allegation that he made.
Okay, so during those 10 years that you were a domestic violence victim, you always asked for help from the system, from the police. And did you feel that because you was a military, you was protected?
I didn't feel like military. I felt because I was a military wife that the military keep it quite quiet and they deal with it in-house, and that he was just getting protected. I didn't feel protected at all. I felt he was more protected than what I was.
Have they tried to take the children when you reported that to the police?
No, not at all. I was very much made aware we do not speak to civilian police and anything is kept in-house. Now, to punish him, he would have like weekend duties, and that was his sort of punishment for the behaviour that he was displaying to me and my children.
Okay, so the system does not put a stop to that, and then you have the courage and you are strong to say enough is enough, and you leave the country and you go to another place to get away from the men.
100%. I was then told that due to the trauma that from being with him, that I might harm my children in the future, and I needed therapy before my children could return.
And who says that to you? Is the social services?
Yes.
Okay, but the social services only comes to your life because
he made a false allegation against me.
And I have the note in here that the guy did a threaten to you. If you don't divorce from me.
No, if you try to divorce me, this started because I sent divorce papers.
Yep.
And he said, if I try to divorce you, I will take your children. I did not believe this. Social services have seen these text messages. Social services are very aware, and they have claimed that I am traumatised and that I need therapy. So instead of supporting me as a victim, they then traumatised me as a victim and took my children, and that was the reason I stayed for so long, because I did not want to lose my children. I was scared to lose my children.
So, Mother, because you didn't divorce the man, you ran away from him. You wanted to divorce from him. Sorry, excuse me. You wanted to divorce from him, but you ran away, and
yes.
He was not happy. And because of that, he threatened you. I will take the children from you. And
yes.
He did what he said, and he put a false allegation onto you on the social services, and the social services enter into your life. Now, what's the false allegation that he said on you?
The false allegation was apparently I pulled my 10-year-old's hair, I kicked her in the stomach, and I poured Coca-Cola over her head.
Has that happened?
She was interviewed twice from the police, and she told the truth to the police that I never done these things.
Okay.
And the police took no further action. They also saw the text messages from her father to her saying that he was going to say Mummy hurt her so that she could come and live with him. They saw all the text messages. They were satisfied that this was a lie.
Okay, so you show that you was threatening you, and for these 10 years, they never protected you. They never put a restraint order on that man. They have never done anything for you. You are the one that runs away from him, moves to another country, and not being enough, all of that, he puts a false allegation into you. They know the history of everything, and
yes.
because everything is on the police, you did the complaints, and they go and they punish you for running away from him, and they take your 3
yes.
children. They don't take the oldest one because he's...
No, they actually did take the oldest children, and I managed to get them returned because they have a different dad.
Oh, because it's a different dad. Because
yes.
that dad has, we can say that has passed away. Okay, so they take the children, they take the 3 children away from you. You have 4 children, correct?
Yes.
You have 4. They take 3 children, and now, what do they say to you that you need to do to have the children back?
They told me that I needed 2 years of therapy.
2 years of therapy?
Yes, but they didn't offer me therapy. I pay for therapy out my own pocket weekly. They told me I had to do parenting courses. I've done 17 qualifications. I have done everything I could imagine to get my children back. I've been told that I'm traumatised. I feel traumatised by the social services. I am a victim of domestic violence who asked for help, who tried to leave her abuser, who tried to safeguard her children, and they took my children from me. I have been fighting for a full year. I am engaging. I am trying to work with them. I'm trying to do courses. I'm trying to do therapy. But I am traumatised because they have took my children from me.
Mother, you are a warrior. You are a lion, Mother. You have been through domestic violence for 10 years, and let's say that the previous marriage was a happy marriage.
Yes.
You are not used to none of that. The man passed away, and on this second relationship was domestic violence, but you were strong enough to live it. You were not protected by this system, and now they take the children away from you. They punish you for being strong.
Yes.
And they say now you need to do 2 years of therapy to get the children back. Now these children, how old are they today?
They're now 10 and 11.
10 and 11. So they know who the mother is. And how was this? Just for the people to know, is it cheap to do this therapy? Is this private therapy?
No, it's expensive. The courses I've done, I've paid hundreds of pounds. Hundreds of pounds out my own pocket for courses to get qualifications. My therapy, I mean, you're talking like, I'm lucky to get a new therapist. She's only charging me £50 a session, you know, but I'm unable to work right now. I was working before. I cry a lot. I feel traumatised. My children are being taken from me. I don't know if they're safe. I am struggling day to day with mental health. The support is just not there. I'm trying to engage.
Mother,
I don't feel that I need therapy for the domestic violence. I feel that I need therapy because somebody is taking my children from me.
Mother, the children they were taken last year in 2023, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are the one of the 3 children you managed to get is back again?
I got it back, yes.
Now, the other 2 children, are they together? Have they been separated, or you do not know?
As far as I'm aware, they are together. But to be honest, I don't know because I have not had an update on my children for 12 weeks. Nobody will return my calls. The last correspondence I had was saying that my children were so distressed that they were putting feces on the walls and they were too distressed to go to school. I have not had any update. I've not been in any meetings. I've had no social worker visit my address since August. Nobody even picks up the phone. Nobody tells you. I honestly could not tell you if they were safe, if they're together, because nobody tells me anything and I still have parental rights.
And how many places have they been so far?
They've now been in 4 placements in the last 9 months.
How many schools have they been?
4 schools in the last 9 months.
Did they give any therapy to the children?
No, not one therapist. Are still sitting on waiting lists, apparently.
Now,
they have no advocate, they have no therapist, they have nobody to speak to outside the social worker and the guardian. They don't know what's happening. They are very distressed. They have wrote letters to the judge asking the judge to return them home to their mummy.
Do you think they know that you are screaming for help for them, or do you think that they think...
I believe that my social media and why they put me in prison was because, yes, my children can see I'm fighting and they want my children to believe I'm not.
Obviously, no one from a person that is correct on his mind does not understand why the social services they are doing this unless they are child trafficking. Now, as a mother,
I can tell you that my 2 children were raised to be respectful to adults, to not misbehave. I never taught them that sometimes there's bad adults out there. They will believe what they are told.
So
I believe very much they're getting brainwashed.
They have been brainwashed,
yes.
You believe. And what do you mean by that? What do you think that your children believe? That the mother does not want...
We don't fight for them, that we are bad people. Now, I'd understand if it was just me, but these children have been separated from every member of their family. Not their siblings, not their grandmother, not their aunts. They have been completely alienated from their whole family because I believe they're being told that we are bad people and we don't care and we are not fighting for them. And they're brainwashing them to believe that we are the problem.
So, Mother, so your children have been taken away from you. They have not been given to any member of the family.
I would also like to state that my mother passed every viability assessment. She went through the course for the children. My mother is actually allowed to foster care other people's children but she cannot have mine.
Wow. So your own mother, she's a foster carer.
Yes, and she cannot have mine.
And your mother is fostering other children.
She's allowed to foster others, but she cannot foster mine.
Okay, so this is important. Does your mother, let me ask you this, I will have to do this question. Does your mother know that she's probably fostering children that have been kidnapped from other
She's
families?
actually not a foster. She only went through the foster care process to get mine. And she was given the okay, you're past the assessments, but then was refused to have my children.
Okay. Is she at the moment fostering other children?
No, she's just qualified doing the courses that she can try and get mine.
Okay, so she was said that she's a good person to foster children, but not good enough.
The social services gave her a high report. They gave her a recommendation that she was suitable. But unfortunately, she doesn't need any financial support by the social services. She was financially stable and she would not need the money. Yep. And they then said on the last day that they would not support her having them after approving her as a foster carer.
Okay. Now, another thing. The system, because the guy that made you go through domestic violence, like you said, he's a military, or he was a military. So the complaint you put into the police, but you was arrested, but that was done inside the military court system, right?
So if you're military, if you phone civilian police, they then pass it to military police, and it's all dealt with in-house. So the criminal process doesn't happen the same. They allow the army to process it, and a lot of the times nothing happens. They just get a slap in the wrist. We are told as wives to keep it in-house, to not phone civilian police, and we must keep it within the military.
Now, but the social services, they have access to that information that you were a domestic violence victim. Okay. Now, what I want to go through is that the army itself, they have punished you, correct?
Yes.
What did they have done to you?
They basically protected him and said that they no longer have to protect me. I'm no longer a wife, that the children are no longer their responsibility. When I reported his abuse to them, they would just give him weekend guards, or that's extra shifts at weekends. That was his punishment for sexual abuse, financial abuse, violent abuse. He would just get 2 days extra work.
Okay. And have they requested the house, demanded the house where you were?
The house I lived in when I was made homeless, yes, that was a military house, and that's taken back off me to give to illegal immigrants.
So, you are a mother, you have children, and they removed the house where you were, they made you homeless, saying that they needed the house for the immigrants from Ukraine.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I know. I know.
This is not a smile. This is a smirk.
It's gobsmacking. Gobsmacking.
So, how many times more are you going to be punished? You have screamed for help, and they keep putting you in a worse and worse scenario.
Now, so when I was evicted from that house, I then engaged with the homeless team. As you do.
Yeah.
And the homeless team put me in a property 10 doors from the foster placement and then punished me again for that. Now they moved me to the area where my children were in foster care and then used that to stop my contact and said that I deliberately upset the placement. The homeless team put me here. The homeless team put me here.
So let me rephrase that. So you need a house, you say that you don't have a house, you explain the situation, and they find a place for you. And because the place that they put you in is 10 doors away from the foster carer where one of your children is, or both children.
I didn't actually know that they were there.
You don't know, yeah. So they are going to punish you because they put you or someone
Yes.
put you near the children. Now, how does that happen? Do you see the children in the street? How does that happen?
I actually didn't, because luckily enough, I realised about 10 days later, I was moved to an area I didn't know. I realised about 10 days later, I passed a school and I recognised the name of the school. And I thought, I think my children go to that school.
Okay.
So I phoned social services and I said, I believe I'm in a property near my children. What do we do? What do I do?
And
Because
you
I
do
don't
that,
want-
and let me say that you only do that because you want to be the first one
follow the rules.
saying
I want to follow the rules.
exactly. So you don't want to. You want to do everything in the correct way, so you don't get punished.
And it's not that. If the children know they're not supposed to see me, I didn't want to put them in a difficult situation where I bumped into in the street and they didn't know what to do. I didn't want the children to be placed in a situation which was scary for them because they know that they're not allowed to see mummy. So I didn't want to put them in a situation where they've just bumped into me and it causes them distress.
And because you have done that, they're going to punish you once again. So how long were you seeing him? How many times? How often was the contact with the children?
So it used to be every 2 weeks, then they put it to, so I would see them. My elder children would see them every 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later I would see them, so they were getting a visit every 2 weeks.
Okay, and now because you said, hey guys, I'm near them, I can bump them.
Since October, I've had completely no contact.
No contact. So
not a letter, not an update, not a text message, not even an update from the social worker to tell me that they're safe. Nothing at all. Completely cut.
So how long has been since you haven't seen your children?
I've not saw my youngest son since June, and I've not saw my daughter since October.
So October 2023 and June 2023.
Yes.
So for one of them has been in June 1 year.
Yes.
Now you said that you have done everything they wanted.
Yes.
That they wanted to get the children back. Because they said that you had mental unstable and you have to do 2 years of therapy.
I also went to get an assessment, and what they said I had, I have got psychiatrist assessments stating I do not have the mental health they say I have.
So you have done everything they wanted. You
Yes.
have done 17 qualifications. You paid for all the therapy, everything. So you went to court and you are hopeful that you're going to get the children back because you have done everything that they demanded you to do, correct?
I was told in the courtroom, no joke, I was told in a courtroom if I withdraw my discharge of care, they will leave me alone. If I do not withdraw my discharge of care, then they would put me in jail.
Okay, can you say that again, please?
So what I did, I've applied for the discharge of care, which means return my children. I was told in the court, if I did not withdraw that application, they would put me in jail. I refused to withdraw that application because I want my children back.
And the application is for what? To
return my children to my care.
So, mother, what the family court is actually saying is, if you forget your children and if you hand your children to us, we are going to leave you in peace.
Yes.
If you want your children back, we
will put you in jail.
We are going to put you in jail.
And they threatened to put me in jail for 5 years.
And they threaten you to...
For 5 years in prison.
In prison for 5 years.
Yes.
So on the day that you go to the family court, that you have done everything that they demanded, on the day that you believe you are going to get your children back because you have paid tons of pounds into therapy, that you know that they are the ones that are wrong.
I've also got all these references from these professionals to defend and go in as evidence. I have professionals who have gave me all this evidence to provide to this court, and I was told withdraw your application.
So, what happened on that day at the end? What did you do?
I refused to withdraw. I refused to withdraw. I still continued to ask the social worker to see my kid. I was actually put in prison. The thing I was put in prison for was I sent a text message to the social worker for 10 days saying, can I have an update on my children, please, with a kiss? She did not answer me for 10 days. I screenshotted that and put it on TikTok. They put me in prison for that.
Okay, but so you came out of the court. You didn't go to prison straight away, correct?
No, they told me to stop speaking on social media, stop speaking about my children, remove them completely from all my social media. Every picture I have, I had to remove from my social media. To basically erase them from my life and forget them. Okay. If I spoke about them, if I spoke about domestic violence, if I spoke about anything, they would arrest me and put me in prison.
But the threat they have done to you into court was, if you don't give up on your children, yes, we are going to imprison you.
Yes.
So it was not about you doing a screenshot to the text message.
I've been told still now, if I withdraw the application for the discharge of care, all this will go away.
So what they used to put you in prison is that you took a picture of the text message that you sent to the social worker saying, I demand to know.
I didn't actually say demand. I wrote, can I have an update on my children, please, with a kiss?
With a kiss?
Yes.
So you do everything in the most polite way,
yes,
in the most generous way. You don't know anything about your children, and you ask information about your children.
Yes.
On the picture that you put on TikTok, was it the telephone number of the social worker? Was it the name of the...
May I stop that, please? No, sorry. No, there was no identifying names, there was no identifying social worker, there was no identifying anybody. It was literally just me saying, can I have an update, my children, please, with a kiss?
So no telephone number, no name of the social worker. You were put in prison because they did what they threatened you to do. If you don't forget your children, we're going to imprison you. They did threaten and they arrested you. How many people arrested you? How many policemen?
I had 3 riot vans turn up to me now. Before I was actually put in jail, every Friday for 5 weeks running, at 3:45 in the morning, I was having 3 riot vans turn up to my house, dragged me about with 8 officers, this is all recorded, and then they would put me in prison and release me. This went on for 5 weeks. 5 weeks of them just releasing me without charge, after keeping me there for 12 hours. When the day I got arrested, they turned up with 10 officers, 3 riot vans bursting through my door at 5 o'clock in the morning to imprison me, and they left marks all over my body. They left bruises all over me. There was no reason for 8 people to manhandle me and drag me into vans in the middle of it. Like, okay. It was embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
And you have another 2 children at home with you?
Yes, I do. They were there and they were absolutely traumatised. They were traumatised watching me get thrown about and manhandled in my own home.
I suppose they broken the door?
Yes, they busted the door. My children were recording this. They were saying, leave my mum alone. She's not doing anything. Stop hitting her. Leave her alone.
And they imprison you?
Yes.
I'm sure that all of that is memories that you have, and I'm sure...
I'm actually still terrified. I put a camera up. I'm scared every time a blue light goes by my house. I'm scared that my door knocks. I'm scared every time I speak to somebody. I'm scared. I'm very scared because I don't even know.
Now, Mother, you have been put into prison. For how long were you arrested?
They remanded me for 5 weeks.
You were arrested for 5 weeks, but in court they have threatened you for how long?
5 years.
5 years?
Yes.
So they were very generous with you. They did obviously.
I do believe they were only generous because several people showed up to my court appearance, and I think the only reason they were generous was because they didn't want a PR nightmare.
Okay, and when I say generous, I'm obviously being.
But I don't understand how I've even got this charge on me, or how I've even got this link. I should not have been in a Crown court for begging for an update my children.
Mother, when I need to rephrase what I said, because people, they can get me wrong. People that they are not into this, they don't, sometimes they don't even understand. So I'm obviously being ironic when I say that they have been generous with you, because let me say to the people that if someone is arrested for murder, the charge can be undue. If the rape is someone is arrested for rape, the charge can be undue. But let me tell you that if a child has been sent to adoption, that cannot be.
No. I've also been told in the family courts when I go back in the 13th of April, there is a chance they can put an order on me that will stop me ever being able to appeal this until they're 18. Now, they can actually put an order on a parent, which means you can never apply to the court again in this country to overturn. Now, a rapist, a murderer, a pedophile, they can appeal. They're literally saying to me that they could put an order to stop me ever going back to court to get my children home.
Now, Mother, has the two children, are they in danger to go for adoption? Or because of their age, they are 10 and 11 now,
I believe they're too old to adopt.
Say again?
They're too old to adopt. They're too old.
Yeah.
So they're...
Yeah, they are too old to adopt, so they are great. So they can
be left in long-term foster care till the age of 18.
On foster care. Let me just say to the audience that in 2023 has been 2,960 forced adoptions. That's the number that I know, at least I know. Nearly 3,000 forced adoptions only in UK 2023. Now I want to go back to where I was. So they threaten you with 5 years, but they have imprisoned you for 5 weeks. Have you been kept in a place safe with one woman, two women? How many people were in the same jail as you?
In the one I was in, there was 120. I was in with people who have drowned their children, who were paedophiles. I was placed, I also had no access to any medication or any mental health while I was in there. They took completely. I was very triggered. I was in there for speaking out, fighting for my children, and I had to sit there with somebody 2 cells down who drowned their children in a bath. How is it possible that somebody who wants to fight for their children can be put in prison for somebody who's killed their children?
So, Mother, you have not committed one single crime. But
I have never been. The only thing against me was a driving offence 17 years ago. I've never been in trouble. 17 years ago, I had a driving offence. That is the only time I've ever been in trouble in my life.
So you have been put into jail with 120 people. That they are criminals. They are pedophiles. They have killed their own children.
Yes.
You have not committed one single crime. And
never.
You are put on the same place. And now they are putting your own life in danger with these people.
Yes.
And you are denied your medical...
I had no mental health medication. Everything was stripped. I had no access to my mental health team or my therapy. I had no access. I mean, I did try and drink bleach when I was in there and try and kill myself when I was in there. That's how bad I felt. I just could not cope. I was suffering mentally. I missed my kids. I didn't understand why I was there. And I had no access to medication.
Now, I want to say as well that, like you said, they were generous with you, only giving you the 5 weeks and not the 5 years, only because you had the support from other families, other mothers and the other fathers. They went to the Crown Court, and they went to the Crown Court. It is a public court.
I can also say it was actually supposed to be in one court, and 70 people turned up. So they changed the court hearing within 15 minutes and people had to then fly 40 minutes to the new court.
So they said that you were going to be in one court.
Yes.
And this one was to arrest you.
So they were actually supposed to have my hearing in one court, and so many people turned up to support me that they changed the court 15 minutes before my hearing and made it a court 40 minutes away, so that people had to then travel an extra 40 minutes to get to my new court hearing.
So how many people? 70 people?
And the first court hearing, about 70 was there, but the time it went to the second court, only about 40, 50 managed to make it in time. They refused to let people in because they were turning up late.
Yeah, so let me say this again. So the situation was going to be taken, your case was going to be taken to one public court.
Yes.
Remember that I'm speaking to the audience. Family courts, no one is allowed to go inside the court.
No, this is a crown court. This is actually supposed to be a crown court.
Now, this being a crown court, there is audience, people that can go inside and see and hear what the judge is saying. So because they want to hide their crimes, so they say the court is going to be in one place, and 70 people, 70, this is amazing, 70 people to turn up is amazing. And then they change in the middle of the night, I think I saw.
But they actually changed it 15 minutes before the hearing was due.
15 minutes before they moved to another court, and that is in another city, and that is 40 minutes away. And the people, they flew on the cars to be present for this mother. They were there. They have heard.
And then the judge refused to allow them in because he said you were late. They had to stand outside. Some go in, others had to stand and watch me on a screen.
Sorry, say that again. I missed it.
So he only let certain ones in, but then he was getting angry because people were late. But they had 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And he then refused to allow anyone in, and they had to watch me on like a television.
So how many people were allowed actually to go in?
So I think about 30 managed to get in,
okay.
And there was more standing outside. But remember, they only had 15 minutes to get to a court 40 minutes away.
Yeah, of course. So this is amazing, the support that you got from the people. That's amazing. Now I wanna go to the point that is it's very important, and I hope that the people, they are still here on this conversation 37 minutes after, because what we're going to talk now, it is very important. Now we are going to talk about one of the children that is in foster care, and that's why probably they are punishing you and they have arrested you. It is because you don't want to expose what you know and what probably is happening to your children in foster care. Now, please say.
So in June, one of my 8-year-old child who's got ADHD, my youngest, he has got ADHD. He came into the contact centre, which is recorded, and stated he had a rash on his belly, he had sore, excuse my language, balls, and that his winky was sore. I believe that he was wet in the bed through trauma of being taken away. When I told this to the social worker, I said, take him to the doctors, because it's your genitals just to get checked. She then emailed me back saying, her quote was, she spoke to my child, she said. Now remember, he's 8 with ADHD. The quote from her in the email states that my son said, his quote, he was having erections, masturbating and ejaculating in the bed. And it was semen. I did not even think of semen until she's told me this. I believed her. Because I believe the social worker.
So, mother, your son says to you,
yes, a rash on his belly.
Hold a second, please. In June 2023, said to you in contact that he has seen balls and that he had a rash on his wheelie.
Yes.
And He said these little things to you.
He also said, I'm nearly a normal boy. I'm nearly a normal boy.
Yeah.
He also told me he was very frightened of the 13-year-old who was in the house that he was living in.
So in the foster house where he was, there was 2 teenage boys.
Yes. And he was frightened of one of them.
And you expressed those concerns to the social worker.
I only expressed the concerns when the doctor told me that there was a red flag because they refused to take him to the doctor. And then they moved in GP surgeries because the doctor demanded to see him. The doctor rang me and said, I can assure you this is not your son Stephen.
Yes, just hold a second. So after you expressed those concerns to the social, when you said the things that your son told you on contact, the social worker has actually written on email that there was semen on the bed. And there was, I will repeat, there was semen on the bed, an 8 years old boy. And that you was... and
the quote from, they said they asked him...
Hold a second, mother, hold a second. And the social worker did say that your boy was doing...
erections, masturbating and ejaculating, and apparently that was his words.
Yes. So you took that information back to the GP, to the doctor, and the doctor guaranteed you that that was not possible.
They said that it's been discussing. The doctor told me he can play with it all he wants, but nothing was coming out. He's too young.
Okay, so let me say this again. The doctor said that an 8 years old boy does not ejaculate, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it is impossible to be semen on the bed from the 8 years old boy. So what this means is that if there is semen on a bed of 8 years old boy, it is because there was there was sexual abuse of your
No, I didn't want to believe sexual abuse. What I wanted to believe was maybe the teenagers in the house didn't want to get in trouble. So maybe they were in his bedroom doing their, thing in his room. I didn't want to believe sexual abuse. I didn't want to think that. But then when they changed from doctors, they refused to let me test the sheets. They have stopped the contact. It seems to me very scary. I wasn't want to believe that, but the way they behaved in the situation makes me think it must be.
So, have they stopped the contact with your children because you are near the house of your children, 10 doors nearby?
So I was allowed to see Charlie until I reported the semen. That was the tune, the boy's the tune. I was then allowed to see the daughter till October till I moved into the property, but we were not allowed to discuss the younger one. So one I had contact from June, the other one I didn't have contact until October.
Okay, so they stopped you seeing the children because of the situation. Now, let me ask you, has the boy been to the doctor, to the GP?
They actually say that he says no. And he has got a right to say no. Now, I'm sorry, if a child's in your care and there's a rash or something and you don't take your child to the doctor, you will be penalised. The child does not get a right to say no. Somebody has to be taking that child to a doctor to be checked. I'm sorry.
So the child has not been to the doctor?
Not at all.
You don't know where the child is right now?
No.
You don't know nothing? And what you know is that you have been stopped by seeing your children because now you reported these concerns to the GP.
I phoned the police and said I reported it to the police.
And now, what did they do when they arrested you for 5 weeks? And what are the other punishments that you have to do?
I've got a 14-point restraining order saying I cannot speak about domestic violence. I'm not allowed to send letters to my children. I'm not allowed to reach out to my children. I'm not allowed to talk about my case directly or indirectly. I'm not allowed to tell people I was in prison. I'm not allowed to discuss that I was abused. I'm not allowed to discuss that my son has seen me in the bed. I'm not allowed to discuss anything at all. I'm completely gagged.
And they want you to pay £180 compensation.
Compensation, and I've got a 5-year restraining order against speaking out about what's happened.
And this compensation is to the foster carer, yeah?
The ex-foster carer who I believe something happened sexually to my child, yes.
Okay, so now I need to ask you, Mother, you have been arrested five weeks. You have been through hell. You are alive. You are here. And you are doing
I don't
this.
feel alive. I feel numb. I'm just a mum who misses her children, who was willing to do anything. I'm willing to do anything. Anything they tell me to do, I will do. Just give me a chance to see my babies. I lie in bed every night wondering if they're safe, if they're scared, if they know they're loved. Like, I'm here, but I'm not alive. I am in complete trauma every single day, just worrying about the safety of my children. And I can't ask about the safety of my children because I might go to jail.
So, social services are child trafficking. Probably children, we have heard many stories now on this case. Probably the children, and I'm sorry, Mum, to say this, probably the children...
It makes me sick to think that something bad, and we hear it all the time, right? We hear it all the time, and the damage is done. Like, these children should be getting into care if they are and being protected, but they're not. They're being abused, they're being manipulated, they're being caused mental health, they're being hurt. They are absolutely causing distress to children, and it's illegal. It's illegal what they're doing to young little children.
Unfortunately, Mother, it's not illegal because they are the legal. They are the judges.
I just realised you can sue a police officer, but you can't sue a social worker.
They are the ones that are child trafficking. It is cruel.
They're above the law. They make the law. They don't have to prove evidence. They are actually able to just say what they want, and it's true. Whether they have evidence or not, it's just what they say is the truth.
It is the social workers that they get money when they take the children.
£56,000 a year per child in care. £56,000 a year per child in care.
Sorry, say that again.
£56,000 a year per child in care.
£57,000 per year
per child in care.
Per child in care.
And I know this because I run a support group for families who are separated from their children. I am very much educated. I've done courses. I am not stupid to see that this is a money-making business. This is all about money. This is all about bonuses. This is not about protecting children at all.
So the social services, they get money when they remove the children.
Yes.
They get bonuses per child. Yes. Do you know how much they get paid?
So the £56,000 a year goes to the local authority.
Okay.
Obviously, the foster carers get £422 per week. They also get an extra £22 per day if they can diagnose your child with anxiety or any sort of problem.
Say that again. How much does the foster care get paid?
£422 per week per child.
Yeah. And how many?
If they can diagnose your child with a problem, it's £22 extra a day. They also get no council tax. They don't pay council tax. They also get free school meals. They get uniform grants. They get holidays every year. They get so much money that should go to the parents to support them.
And how many children can they have in one home?
As long as you have spare bedrooms, you can have. The advertisement is as long as you get room to put a cot, you can foster.
So if you can pay for a house that has 10 rooms, they can have 10 children.
Yes.
And
with no full checks, with no qualifications, with no, they're handing children to people who are just getting a job. They're just applying to a job. Like, they don't check that they're safe.
So how much per month can a foster carer get?
So weekly it's £422 per week per child.
Yes. But,
and that's not including the free school meals, the uniform grants, and the extra £22 a day if that child's got anxiety.
So foster care can easily get £3,000 per month, probably.
Oh, easily.
So
they also get a free holiday every year where they put your child in a residential care unit while they all go a family holiday. They also get
mother, say again. So the foster children, they are not going holidays
no,
with
no,
them?
no. My children were placed in a residential care home while the foster family all have a holiday.
So the foster family gets paid for holidays,
Yes.
but they are not taking the children with them?
No, they go into a residential care home.
But is that what is supposed to do, or what they do?
I've joined a foster care group to see if this is actually a normal thing, and yes, it's very normal for every foster family to have a holiday without their foster children yearly.
Oh, so they really take holidays from the children, the ones that...
And they also get offered services where they can have weekend residential breaks. Now, if the parents were offered these opportunities, nobody would struggle. They get weekend to put the children into care homes so they can have weekend breaks and holidays and all these essentials that parents are not getting.
And mother, these fostering people, they do know that the children, they have been kidnapped from the families.
They do not believe that.
Do they not, or do they rather not to believe?
I believe that there may be good ones out there, but what I saw from mine is it was very much about money. It was very much turning my children against me. It was very much paycheck. Whereas I just thought a foster mother and the mother should work together, and make, we all have this child, we all should work together. But these people see this as a paycheck, a complete paycheck.
And there is advertisement for fostering everywhere in UK, correct? Everywhere, in the buses, everywhere.
Everywhere, and all I see over TikTok and Facebook is constant advertisements for foster carers. Now, you're not allowed to sell your dog on Facebook, but you can advertise a child on Facebook.
So the children that have been kidnapped from the families, they advertise their own faces?
Yes, they advertise, and these children give such and such a home. Little blue-eyed boy with a big smile. It's disgusting. It's advertising them like they're property. They're not property. These are children.
Now, mother, the judges, the social workers, the policemen, the solicitors, are they...
To be honest with you, the police is actually on my side. The police said their hands were tied. That's the rules. The police were so disgusted.
Yes, mother, but at the end they are only doing your job.
Yes.
Everyone is only doing that job. And in this way, the children, they are being child trafficked, and families, they are
and it's causing mental health, it's causing trauma, it's causing... Imagine being a little child sitting there wondering, why am I not loved enough? Why don't they care about me? Why am I here? And then for the family that they're with to go on holiday and leave you in a care home, so you're not part of that family, you're not part of any family. Imagine being that child. How traumatizing.
Mother, I want to ask you, do you know if judges, social workers, solicitors, they are the one actually that run?
I believe it's the family courts. I believe it's the judges, CAFCAS and social services that are using this to gain money. The lawyers, even your own lawyer, your lawyer is not on your side. Your lawyer is part of the corruption. It's all about taking your child away.
But my question is, are they the owners of the care homes?
Yes, they actually are. Foster social services are actually running care homes. I know a parent whose child has been adopted by the contact centre manager. By the contact centre. How is that person ever going to win their kid when the adopter was running the contact centre? Like, it's conflict of interest. No, these people are making children's homes. These are social workers who are called to make money. They want to fill their kids' homes. They're making money. They don't care about the child.
Now, mother, a child, a baby. My baby was taken with 5 days old. A baby has been listening to the mother for 9 months, it believes, that's what the studies they say.
I've actually read studies that say it doesn't matter how early you take these children, it causes trauma.
Of course
That
it does.
child at 5 days old would still have trauma.
Yes.
Because it's been separated. There's a mother, when she gives birth to her child, there's DNA left in that mother from her child. There is a connection to your child, and that child also feels that connection. They cause trauma, whether it's a newborn, whether they're fat. You cause trauma when you take a. You're not allowed to take an animal in the wild cub away, but you can take a mother's child away and expect her to sit down and be quiet. No, you cannot sever a mother, and the bond between a mother and its child is precious. It's precious.
Now, mother, I want to say that baby, when he borns, he believes, that's what the studies they say, he believes he's only one with the mother. He does not know himself as an independent. He believes it's part of the mother. So he has been for 9 months listening that voices, the mother and the father, and suddenly he's been taken away. Now, I know when I was on the contact because that's what they call, when I was seeing my son, and that only took few days, few hours in 1 month, and I could see on his eyes, I could have like telepathic message with him.
Yes.
And when he saw me, he was happy and was very sad. I could see that he was confused, like, I'm happy to see you, but where have you been?
Yes.
And
yes.
He's confused, and I know that he probably was looking for me, and he's very upset because he does not know where I have been. And I cannot imagine, mother, what it is to live a life without my mother and without my father. And every day I'm going to be 40 this year, and I could not live my life without my parents. I could not be here without my parents because of the strength that they give to me, the love that I have from them. If it wouldn't be them, I wouldn't be here. If I know who I am, if I have my values, if I'm doing this, it's because of my parents. Now, out there, it is horrible. People, they are horrible. And
what they don't understand is every child who's been severed from their parents is going to wonder what they did wrong, what they done wrong, why was I not good enough, why wasn't I loved enough. They put in little doubts in little children's heads that they should never have to ever feel. The trauma that causes a child and the insecurities that causes a child, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting to make that child ever feel less worth than what they are.
The police are the ones, they are supposed to be there to protect you. Now, your oldest children, I'm not even going...
I would also like to say, if I'm such a bad parent, I would like to talk about my oldest children. Both my oldest children, one's 19, he's actually qualified to drive HGVs. He's just finishing his final year to be a HGV mechanic. He's doing last year. He's never been in trouble with the police. He's very respectful. He's a good boy. He still lives at home. My other daughter works at our staff. She works 5 days a week. She's also in college full-time as well, doing hair and beauty and childcare. If I was such a bad mum, why is the 2 children that I do have at home thriving? Why are they both thriving? Why are they both in education? Why are they doing well in life? If I'm such a bad mother, why are they doing so well in life?
And mother, there is another thing now, is that you have these 2 older children that they have seen the police going inside, destroying the front door of the house, and going and get the mother to be in prison for a crime that has not done, or for the crime for screaming for help for their own children. So these 2 children that you have, they are not children anymore, but...
I don't think they're children, they're still children, they're still my babies, you know, they are my babies, no matter what age they are, they're still my children.
Yes, but they for them to be strong in their minds and to not go out there and to not do something wrong, and I mean to not do justice for their own, because...
Good people, good members of society. And when I was in prison, I was very much embarrassed. And my children told me, Do never feel ashamed because you put yourself in prison fighting for us, Mum. You put yourself in prison to fight for us, Mum.
That's amazing that even they give force to you. Now, Mother, I know that social services, they are child trafficking. I know that the judges, they are the ones that run, they are the owners of the care homes, so they are making money with these. What I was going to say as well is
For legal aid, when you get legal aid, you get something like £250,000. Why would your lawyer want to win when they've got access to £250,000? They don't want to win because when their legal aid certificate comes in, they've got that access to that amount of funds. If they win, they don't get that amount of funds. But if they lose, you have to appeal. You have to go back in, letter to the dissent, so they then get access to the full amount of the legal aid.
Let me tell you that in our case, we actually have the proof that the lawyers, they were conspiring, because in my room they said, sign here against the father of your son, and the judge might think to give the baby, might think to give the baby to you. So when I went to Leon's room to say to him that they wanted me to sign against him, what he told me, was that his lawyer said that they told him that I had signed already.
They try and separate the parents as well. But can I also tell you that my children, now I have this in a voice recording, I record everything. My children were told by the CAFCAS officer and by social services, the judge wouldn't believe nothing happened at home. So you have to tell me something happened so we can tell the judge that she's going to fix it. If you say nothing is happening, the judge is not going to believe you. So you have to tell me something is happening at home so the judge will let you go back.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Right. So your children in care are being told by social services and CAFCAS, you must tell us something bad is happening at home. Because if nothing bad is happening, the judge won't believe. If you want to go home, we have to show the judge that something bad has happened, because if you say nothing, the judge won't believe us. I have this recording from my children's mouth. They were told to say, they were telling us we had to say you were bad, Mummy, because if you're not bad, the judge won't believe us and we won't be allowed to come home. They said the judge has to hear something bad or we can't come back, Mummy.
And do you know what bad the children they said about you?
My children wrote letters to the judge saying they want to come home.
Oh my God. And
please let us come home.
So they have been told to do exactly the opposite, but they still wrote what they wrote.
Yes.
That's amazing. So that only proves that you have done an amazing work with your children. Now, I'm really sorry. Like I said, my baby was taken with 5 days, and
they actually told me as well that my son's ADHD diagnosis, now he was diagnosed by the hospital. They told me he does not have that now. He's just traumatised since being in your care. Yes. He was diagnosed, but they say no.
I cannot imagine what a 10-year-old child can think, how can feel when has been separated from the mother and from the family, from the brothers.
I've got reports showing that they had to come and get my clothing at night because my children could not sleep unless they smelt me. They had to come down and get pieces of my clothing for my children to wear to bed because they were so distressed that they could not sleep without smelling me at night.
Are you going to give up, Mother?
Never. Never. I am not allowed to take interviews. I am threatened for 5 years in jail. I am threatened with, I am a mother. My job is to protect my children. I will never, ever walk away or give up my children, ever.
Now, if someone is I know for sure that people, they are going to listen to us. Now,
but I'm also willing to do everything the social work say. I will do anything they ask. I will jump as high as they tell me to. I will do any course they ask me to. I am not saying I will do whatever it takes because I want my children back. I'm not just saying I want them back, go away social work. I will do whatever they tell me to do to get my children back.
I usually ask for an email for someone to contact you. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. If someone wants to contact this mother, I will speak with the mother and we will see what can be done. And what do you want, mother? What do you want someone to do? Someone with power
what
to
the whole
do?
point of this is, I want to raise awareness. I want people to know, that stigma to go away, there's no smoke without fire. I want people to know that this can happen to you. Somebody can put a false allegation in against you. Somebody can be and somebody just comes to the school and takes away your babies and just steal. No, people need to realise they're not protected in care. They are traumatised in care. They are being hurt in care. These are our children. If we don't stand up now, God knows how many are being taken. We all need to be aware of what's going on and stand up and put a stop. We are protecting innocent children here, innocent little children.
And you want your children back.
And I want every mother every parent who's been through domestic violence and had their children robbed. I want every parent to not be punished because somebody hurt them. If an abuser hurts you, you should not be losing your children. You support, not punish. You don't punish parents who have walked away the abusers. You cannot do that.
My son Santiago has been taken in 2016. He was 5 days old and has been 8 years. I do not know where Santiago is. Like I say, I don't even know the color of the eyes of my son. The last time I saw my son was on the 4th of March 2016. He was 1 month old.
I can't even imagine that. I don't understand how people can say 8 years. I am not that person. I will go to war I will go to war for my children. I don't care what you take from me, but these are my babies. My job is to protect them, and I will not sit for 8 years without them. I will speak. Put me in jail. I don't care. I will fight until I'm blue in the face or I'm dead for my children.
Mother, on my case, is not just UK, it is Portugal. I came to Portugal, there was a protest organized, I came in front of the TV, I was in all newspapers, in every single TV. I spoke with the president of Portugal, I spoke to him personally, I spoke to the Prime Minister, I spoke to the Minister of the Foreign Affairs.
I've been blocked by the local MP. I've been blocked by the local MPs because I write to the MPs, I write to the human rights courts, I write to everybody who will listen, who's supposed to listen, because somebody will hear me. We're not unstable. We are mothers. We are mothers who are meant to fight for our babies. Our job is to protect our children.
Have you tried to reach the TV in England?
I actually have, but a lot of reporters are very unable to speak out.
Why is that?
Apparently they're not allowed to report on family court cases and that's sad. Because we hear about the ones 10 years ago who were abused. Why is it taking 10 years? Journalists are apparently coming at my court case and they've been told to show up, dress up and shut up.
So, not a long time ago, mothers from the 1970s, 1980s, they were saying that the Catholic Church, they took the babies and they sent the babies for forced adoption, and that was on the TV, on the BBC.
Yeah, but it's taking that long before it comes out. I'm not willing to wait 10 years when my children are messed up. I'm not willing to wait. You're not going to do this to my babies. Our job is to fight now, and everybody needs to get angry because they could be at your door next. They could knock your door next because some neighbour's got a beef with you. You don't understand how easy it is for these people to walk in and take your children away from you and cause so much mental health, so much distress and so much. No, we all need to realise this is not acceptable and what is happening to these poor children in care.
So BBC, there was a TV presenter, Jimmy Savile.
Abusing children.
After that, he came up to the light that he was actually a pedophile. And not a normal, I wouldn't say, not a simple pedophile. You would have access to thousands of people and you was abusing all of them. It seems it was something like horrendous. And
What's going on right now is the people in power are the ones we have to protect our children from. The ones in power are managing the foster homes, managing the care homes, making decisions, causing the people in power are the abusers. And if we don't, abusers only hold power while we stay silent. If you speak out, the abuse stops. If everybody speaks out, and the ones in power, they are abusing our children. They're abusing our children.
I want to say that Jimmy Savile was friends, like personal friends with
the Queen. And the Queen, for goodness sake.
And the King now, correct? And the King now. So BBC is protecting all of these, the social services, child trafficking, because it's not giving voice to any of these cases. And you can easily see that the mothers, they are screaming for help, and no one is doing
It's not just the mothers, it's about the children who are leaving care, who are speaking their truth. Why is nobody listening to the ones that are actually going through it? It's not just about the mothers, it's about the children, and when they're coming out, telling the abuse, why is nobody hearing them?
Mother, there is other mothers being put in prison for speaking. There is other mothers put in psychiatric wards for speaking, correct?
Yes. I know of 4 mothers in my support group over the last 2 weeks who have been charged with community orders and been given fines and have also been served gagging orders. Now, I run a support group. There's 4 mothers in there with threats to go to prison if they don't shut up.
So I suppose that is this often that they are actually arresting the parents? Because I have been threatened myself when I was.
I didn't believe it, but I can see it very much now, and I believe it's because people are exposing and they're scared of what's happening being exposed. Because you can go on TikTok and you can say anything and nobody cares. Right, so why don't they just like that pass when you say what you're saying? Why are they so determined to shut parents up when they're speaking about social services?
So the parents, they, I really respect you and everyone that comes to me and trust me to do this exposure, because
I'm grateful that somebody wants to do this. Because parents are seeking out for people to expose and raise awareness, and they don't get anybody. Now, the papers will write on stupid stuff. They will not ever take a story. They're not allowed to speak. So fair play to you for speaking out, because you're not allowed as a journalist to speak out against social services, and everybody is too frightened to do that.
Now, and another thing that I think I have not said yet. You were working, you had your income before all of this happened, and you were completely independent. You were doing all right.
I actually still do all right. So even though this is happening, I volunteer 3 times a week for the homeless. I help mothers in domestic violence. I've also set up a charity myself. But before that, I did work 6 hours a week, but now I work voluntarily. So even when they're trying to break me, I'm still out every day supporting homeless people, supporting people with domestic violence, and I work for charities. I am a volunteer for charities. Like, I still help people. I'm not the person that betrayed me, and I'm very much capable of looking after my children. They don't like that. I phoned my social worker one day and said, "You're going to put me in a box." And she said, "Well, at least I won't have to deal with your phone calls."
Mother, these social workers, do they have children?
No. My social worker is a 19-year-old girl who's just come out of university, apparently.
Is a 19-year-old girl?
She's 19 years of age, yes.
And she can do this job?
Emotionally. She's done university, so she's more than qualified to make decisions on. Now, I'm a mother of 4. I could not raise 4 of my children the same way. They're individuals.
No, Mother, let me interrupt you. My question is, for someone to be a social worker and to be doing this, for someone to be a social worker and to be doing this job, and I mean raping families, taking children from the families, you have to have a stone in your heart. Not everyone can be doing this job. And does this 19-year-old girl, do you see light in her eyes Or do you
I
see...
see. To me, it feels like maybe she was bullied at school and she's on a power trip. It seems to me that she enjoys hurting me. She enjoys hurting my family. She rings me up to say, just to let you know your child said it hates you today.
That saying what?
She would ring me to say, just to let you know your child said it hates you today. Why would a social worker phone a parent to say that? It's disgusting.
Sorry, I didn't understand. That your son what?
She said, your son said he hates you today.
A 19 years old social worker rings you to say that your child said that he hates you.
Yes.
She's 19 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
No children of her own. No actual experience with children, just read a book. Now, you can't raise children the same. I've got 4 and I raise them all differently. You cannot read a book and raise a child, and this person laughs in my face when I cry. They laugh in my face when I cry.
They laugh when you cry. Now,
yes.
Mother.
When I said, I feel like you want to kill me off and put me in a box, she said, well, at least I won't have to deal with your phone calls every day.
Do you think they choose these people to be social workers?
I think everybody might come with a good intention, and they're then taught within the service to get money, to get bonuses, you have to behave like this.
Yeah, but not everyone can do this job. So they either they do psychological tests before put them...
They don't actually. They don't. What gets me is, though, every other job you have to do like a yearly evaluation. You know, every job you do a year's evaluation to see how you're going. Social work don't get evaluated. Nobody checks how many children are taken. Nobody checks how many. Nobody questions. They just get to do what they want when they want, and nobody checks.
How many children do you think are being taken every single day from the mothers? What's number that you know?
I was told at least 200 children are being taken a day. I don't know if that's true, but I've been told at least 200 children are being taken a day over the UK.
Now, the groups that exist in UK, there is groups of forced adoptions. There is one that is very well known, I would say, is one that is from Andy.
That's in forced adoption, yeah.
How many people, I don't know on top of my head, how many people, how many members do exist on these forced adoptions?
Hundreds and hundreds, and that's just one group. I can assure you there's maybe 10, 11, 12, and they're all individual groups out there with maybe 500 parents in them, all going through the same thing. There's thousands of people going through this.
Mother, this private group, and it's called End Forced Adoptions and Fostering Official UK, has 3,900 members.
And that's just one group. That's not including the sister groups like Social Work UK, WUST, Voices of the Children, Social Work UK. There is thousands of sister groups. That's just one group. That's not including the other sister groups that's out there. There is so many parents everywhere.
Mother, how many mothers do you know that they are going through this without the children that have had the social work?
And most of these children, they're taken for the same thing: domestic violence or risk of future harm. Nobody has ever been abusing their children. Nobody has been charged with a crime. Nobody has failed a drug test. They're all had their children removed for future harm. Nobody can say you are going to hurt somebody in the future. Nobody can say that. That is the vast majority of why these children are taken. And if you're a domestic violence victim and you leave your husband, you're supposed to ask for help. They should not be taking children from parents who are leaving their abusers, who are asking for help. That sets domestic violence back 10 years. That leaves women in vulnerable situations who might get killed because they're too scared to leave their partner that they might lose their children.
So the social services, they are taking the children from the mothers that they were victims of domestic violence or any other reason, and they use future emotional risk. And the future, let me say, the future does not exist. No one can be punished for something that does not exist. That's bollocks. That's essentially...
Due to your past trauma, you may cause harm to your child in the future.
And, sorry, I just had something on my mind. And so you said that you know hundreds of mothers, all of them on this situation, that no crime the mothers they have done and they have been punished. How many mothers of those, the children that have been sent for adoption?
Far too many. Far too many. Again,
so when they are babies,
have ever been charged with a crime.
So when they are babies,
you know that if you've been in care, if you grew up in care, your child will automatically be taken away from you because you grew up in care. Your child will be removed because you grew up in care. That doesn't get... How can you have your child removed because you grew up in... They don't give you a chance to be a mum. They will automatically remove your child just because you were in the care system.
And they essentially are saying that we do not have conditions to grow up healthy children, so they are not going to be able to grow up.
What they say is you never grew up in a family environment, so you can't give a family environment to your child.
So the only way for this to stop is people to stop being fearful of spreading the truth, of exposing these cases, and not being afraid of everything. We have to give voice. It's not for us. It's for our children.
Actually all say no.
It's for our children.
Stop signing the voluntary forms. Stop giving them the power. Stop signing our children over. Stop complying unless there's court orders, and start speaking out, because abuse is abuse, no matter who is doing it. If you're being abused by if a social worker's behaving like you're being abused, and you should speak out. Everybody needs to stop being scared and speak out, because that's the only way this will stop.
And do you notice that there is more people that they are coming together, and more people they are less afraid to speak?
Yeah, because that's social media. People are starting to speak out. The more you speak out, that's why they try and put you in jail to silence you. Because the more we speak out, people are getting confidence to speak out, and we're all starting to speak out, and people are coming together, and they don't like that. But if we continue to speak out, no matter if they put you in jail, no matter if they gag you, speak out, because they can't ignore you all.
And the only reason why you're not showing your face, it is just...
It's because I have 2 children at home. I still want my children back, and I want to still be seen as complying with the court orders.
And we have not given any name, and we have not identified neither the mother, neither the children.
But I have a right to speak about what's happening to me personally. I am a human being. I should not be told what I can and can't. As long as I don't identify anybody, then I don't believe that anybody has the right to tell me not to speak.
So everyone is entitled.
It's a basic human right.
Yes.
A basic human right is to speak out, to have a right of privacy, to have a right of family, to be let alone, to not discriminate against, to not be targeted against. And we are being abused, victimised, discriminated against, and targeted, and our human rights are being taken away from us.
So you have been punished for being a domestic violence victim.
Yes.
You have been punished for standing up for your children. You have been punished for being a loving mother. You have been punished for everything. And
all my court documents state I am a loving, devoted, loyal mother, but due to my past trauma, I may cause harm. Not one of my court documents state that I am a bad mother. Not one.
Mother, I want to say to you, thank you so much for the courage that you have, for not giving up, to not be afraid, and to stand up for your children, and to stand up for every children, because you are not just standing for your children, you are doing for everyone.
This is what parents are supposed to fight for their innocent children. I've got no choice. That is my job as a mother, to stand up and fight. And I want to fight for everybody's children, because I'm involved with so many mothers who are killing themselves, who are hurting themselves, and I don't want to see this happen to anybody anymore.
Because there is mothers that they are committing suicide.
I know far too many this 1 year who's killed themselves. Far too many.
How many? How
young
many?
19-year-olds hanging themselves and stuff. It's disgusting. 19-year-old girls hanging themselves because of the social services. It's not right. It's heartbreaking.
And when there is not a domestic case, not a domestic violence case, they make sure to separate the couple, and they try to divide and conquer and separate the father from the mother, and they put one against the other. So
because they want to cause vulnerability. They don't want couples to be together. They want to divide and cause vulnerability, and they can target vulnerable people, and that's abuse.
yes, it is. Mother, thank you so much. I will, we will finish this video, and I want to let you say the last words, especially I think to your children, that you love them and that
yes, I just want to say that I'm sorry if I'm embarrassing you, and I'm not doing this because I'm embarrassed you. I'm doing this because I love you. I love you very much. I miss you, and my job is to protect you, and I will never, ever give up. Ever. I'm coming. I'm always coming, and I will never leave you there. I will never abandon you because you're my babies.
Thank you so much, Mother, and I just wish you all the best. We are going to keep in touch, and I want to believe that someone in power is going to listen to this, is going to make aware of your case, and is going to be able to help you, and not just your case, because
help everybody. There's so many people. It's so many of us who need.
I want my son back too, and that's why I do all of these too.
And thank you for speaking for other mothers. When you've been through that yourself, we need more people like you to raise awareness. Too many people are not doing it. Well done to you.
Thank you so much
for speaking out. You know, well done.
Thank you so much. But I am in Portugal. You are in England, so you have to be very brave to be doing this and to do this. That's all I have to say. You are a warrior. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for exposing this. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for giving me a space to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll keep in touch. All the best for you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. If you have